How do you do? Jen and Cam feel it would be unkind to present this program without a friendly word of warning. We are about to unfold our true crime podcast, a podcast of lifelong friends who seek to examine crimes which were committed without reckoning upon God. The discussion will be frank, and the subject matter will be of a grim and violent nature. I think it will thrill you. It might even horrify you. So, if there are young children listening, or if you feel unwilling to subject your nerves to such a strain, now's your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Cam and I are so pleased to have Podcorn sponsor today's episode of our True Crime Podcast. Explore sponsorship opportunities and start monetizing your podcast. Sign up today at podcorn.com/podcasters. That's Podcorn, podcorn.com/podcasters. Cam and I, we both love having an independent podcast. What we don't love is getting overlooked for sponsorships because our podcast isn't quite a household name. At least not yet. But that's all about to change thanks to Podcorn. Podcorn is like a dating site for podcasters and sponsors. Big or small, Podcorn brings together sponsors and podcasters on an easy-to-use platform. You will work directly with sponsors you choose while picking the type of ad you want to do, and you even get to set your own rates. You will never give up the rights to your podcast, and Podcorn will help you all the way, including making sure you are compensated for the work you do for the brands. We've just started using Podcorn, and I really can't believe how simple the whole process is. I mean, we booked 3 ads our first try. So just don't sit around waiting for sponsorship opportunities to come to you. Make your sponsorship opportunities happen now. Go to our show notes, click on Podcorn's link, and start browsing sponsorship opportunities today.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Cam, how are ya?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing all right, living the dream each and every day.
Me too, girl. Me too. What's new?
Actually, I had a really interesting conversation with, well, let me start at the beginning. On Halloween, how we tried to do a spooky story about St. Louis's #1 haunted house?
Yes, I do.
And we recorded it 5 times, but each one the audio was bad.
Yep.
Well, one of the supposed suicides that happened in that house was actually, they believe now, a murder. And that was what we were going to discuss in that episode. But anyway, there's a new movie coming out. It premieres on March 19th. You and I are going. I got us tickets.
Woohoo!
Yeah. And I was talking to some of the directors and the stuff today about the case, and I told him about our little problems with recording the episode and how we blamed it on the ghosts of the Limps. And he said, oh, that curse is real. Yeah, he said we started out with a crew of 10 people to make this movie, and by the time we got done, there was only 2 left. So, I don't know what that means, but I'm kind of excited to hear about it.
Me too.
And we will keep you guys posted. Maybe we'll do a special little episode about it, or maybe we will have those people that are involved in the show come talk to us.
That would be awesome.
It'll be very cool.
It really would. All right, you want to just dive right in right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so story I have today, it's a mystery. When I was writing this, for those of you that watch Dateline Mystery, usually on the weekends, right? That's what I kept thinking about. A lot of you might be familiar with this. I kind of was, but I confused this family with the McStay family, if you're familiar with them at all. And this is a different family.
Okay.
So it's October 7th, 2009 in Eufaula, Oklahoma. The Jamison family load up their truck and drive about 30 miles away to Panola Mountain. The family is made up of 44-year-old Bobby, 40-year-old mom Sherilyn, and 6-year-old daughter Madison. Now, they were all interested in buying some land they'd had a rough go of it. And I think they were just trying to get away, start new, build a little house, maybe go off the grid a little bit. And this all came about after some issues, but we'll get into that in a minute. The morning that they left, they go out there, they explore a little bit, and they get lost, a little frustrated. So they decide to come home, and their intention was to go back up the mountain the following morning. That was the last time anyone had heard from the Jamison family. October 16th, 2009, my birthday. Red Oak, Oklahoma. 8 days after venturing up the mountain, hunters come across a truck on the side of the road near the top of Panola Mountain. As they start to look around and investigate, they notice that the truck is locked, but there is a little dog inside. Now, at this point, it had been 8 days, as I said, and the dog was inside. The puppy didn't look very well. Puppy's name was Maisie. It seemed to be stuck in there for a long period of time. The hunters immediately fan out. They look around the truck to see if they can find the owner, thinking that he might be nearby. But they kind of realize that based on the dog's condition, that they believe that there was nobody around for a while. The hunters called the Latimer County Sheriff's Department to get some help, and they want to rescue the dog. The little dog had survived the time in the truck solely by eating her own feces. Her little name is Maisie. She's like a little Pekingese, I'm not very good with dogs. You'd know what it was. It's the kind that wears a little bow in the front. You know.
A Maltese or...
Yes. Yep. As the investigative team arrived, they look around the truck and they know immediately something's not right. Inside the truck, they locate cell phones that belong to Bobby and Sherilyn. They locate Bobby's wallet, Sherilyn's purse. Officers think that maybe they just parked the truck and went looking around and got lost. That's their immediate thought. With this in mind, they start searching the woods near the truck. Their idea is a rescue mission versus a, recover mission. The area up there is a bit rough. It's a bit rugged. And they speculate that maybe one of them got hurt and couldn't make it back to the truck. And they're all just staying put, hoping to get rescued. The police know that they need to hurry up and find them quickly. There's a little thing here. Nobody reported them missing because the family, they were a little peculiar, but, we all have our own thing. They were private, and in fact, they had just pulled Madison out of public school because they were going to homeschool her. So the school, which is immediately what I thought, why didn't the school say that this little girl
they're missing?
Yes, but she had been pulled out. Since the school didn't expect her, they never, called to verify her absence because she had unenrolled. Police attempt to track their last movements by using the GPS on their cell phones. They are able to see that the Jamisons had been nearby and even found footprints in the mud. They believe that they were in the area from around 20 minutes or so. Now, it was in this area that you see a rock, like a rock formation. And when you go into Bobby's phone, there is a picture of Madison kind of leaned up on the rock smiling. And that's the photo that you see that was circulated in the news. It's also believed to be the last photo of the little girl.
Isn't that the one that the parents swear or the grandparents swear that she was in distress, that she had a look of distress on her face?
Yes. Yeah. They say that she's not happy in that photo. And we'll put this all on the blog. Now, what is baffling, if you think about all this, is why did the family take their phone out, snap a picture of the little girl, and then bring the phone back, put it in the car, only to leave once again? While part of the team was out looking for clues in the forest, officers began looking in the truck.
Was it a forest or was it a flatland? I thought it was kind of like a...
It's rugged. It's trees, forest, woods, rocks. It's a mountain.
Okay. Well, as mountain as Oklahoma gets, but... That's
why I kind of giggled, because I was like, a mountain in Oklahoma, but it is pretty steep. And there's no one around. I mean, it's very rural.
Gotcha.
While part of the team was out, scouring the area, officers began looking in the truck, and they discover something frightening and makes them automatically suspect that this has went from a lost family to a crime scene. Underneath one of the seats in the truck, officers find $32,000 in cash.
Just under the seat.
Yes. It now becomes obvious that there's some sort of foul play, or they believe so.
Yeah, you normally don't carry $32,000 in cash I don't. I mean,
or hide it in your car.
30,000 in cash, yeah, sure, but never 32,000.
Yeah,
no,
maybe even
that's
34, not 32.
No, that's just ridiculous amount of cash to carry.
Police start to run some scenarios and try to determine what they think might have happened that October day. It was clear that there was not a big struggle at the truck. The ground wasn't disturbed. There wasn't any blood nearby that they could find. The items in the truck tell them that the family would be returning to those items or they were forced out of the truck. Nobody leaves their cell phone. In this day and age, nobody goes on a hike and leaves their cell phone in the car.
Or their dog.
Police are starting to think that since nothing was taken, it was not a robbery gone wrong. As police continue to process the truck, they find something rather interesting. There's a letter in there written by Sherilyn to Bobby. The letter would shine some light on the state of their marriage, and, well, it's not going very well. Police talked to family and friends and learned that the couple had been fighting, and in fact, they'd even been talking about divorce. The couple had told friends that they wanted to sell their house and try to make a go of it with a much more simple lifestyle. Apparently, Bobby had been in a car accident in 2003, and it left him with chronic pain, and he was unable to work. Now, you and I both know marriage is hard enough, right? And there's a lot of stress in a regular marriage. Well, combine it with a person that can't work and is in chronic pain and on painkillers, it would be a very tumultuous relationship, to say the least. Tumultuous. Did I say that right? I don't want anybody to say we said it wrong. Me.
Tumultuous? No, it should be tumultuous. I think you said it right.
I'm just checking. You never know. Let's get into the Jamisons. Here's a little bit of background for you. Sherilyn and Bobby met in 2002, and Sherilyn gave birth to Madison in August 2003. Not too long after the birth of Madison, Bobby was involved in a traffic accident that would leave him with severe back pain, forcing him to give up work and collect disability. The couple were trying to work it out and even got married in July 2004. Things were looking up for the couple, or so they were hopeful, but those hopes were soon dashed. In 2007, Sherilyn's sister would have a fatal reaction to a bee sting. And in 2008, Bobby's parents, Bobby Sr. and Starlet Jamison, would divorce. This divorce would cause just a big rift between Bobby and his father. The rift was actually way more than that. Arguments would lead to physical fights, threats, and even a protective order or two. Bobby Sr. even wrote Bobby out of his will, which led to even more court proceedings, which would lead to even more threats. And the threats were pretty bad. They weren't like, I'm mad at you. They were death threats, if you will. In 2009, little Madison was at school when a swing hit her in the mouth, knocking out her front teeth. Infuriated, Bobby and Sherilyn removed her from school. As I said, they were going to homeschool her. But,
right.
They're going to sue the school too, right? So they decide to sue the school for not watching Madison on the playground. In July 2009, as a way to help the family out, a handyman named Kenneth Bellows had moved into their home. The idea was that Bellows could lend a hand around the house. Since Bobby suffered in pain, he wasn't able to do a lot around the house. The arrangement didn't last long. It was about a month into it when Bellows, well, let's just say he was a bit of a racist, kind of like being a bit pregnant, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
He learned that Sherilyn was part Native American, and, well, that went over like you think it would go over with a racist. Sherilyn ended up getting in a fight with him. She pulled a pistol on him and fired at him, but he was not injured. He was able to get away, but now he was homeless. Also in July of 2009, Sherilyn's son from her first marriage appeared in a custody hearing. Now, being over the age of 12, the boy wanted to live with his father because, as he told the court, his mom seemed depressed and was acting weird sometimes. The court agreed to give custody to the father. Sherilyn was devastated.
I would be devastated too.
In September, Sherilyn, who had a history of depression and was bipolar, was hospitalized after attempting suicide. Now, it seems like this bizarre behavior wasn't just plaguing Sherilyn. Allegedly, Bobby had visited his pastor to inquire on whether it was possible to buy bullets to kill bad spirits, which Bobby had seen on the roof. Sherilyn also knew about these spirits on the roof. In fact, she would see the spirits in her home as well. Bobby would purchase a satanic Bible as he was going to exorcise these demons. I don't know about you, but I think that's the wrong kind of Bible. Bobby. I think that's the wrong Bible Bobby. That's hard to say.
Yeah, that's not what you need.
They're spiraling down if you can't tell.
Mm-hmm. Just a bit. Drugs are bad people.
Drug bad people. Bobby was not the only one experimenting. Sherilyn had started, investigating, inquisitively, of course, witchcraft. Her friends would say that she really wasn't into it very seriously, but she used it to keep people away, which kind of made me laugh because that sounds like something I would do, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She would spray paint signs in her yard, and they had religious overtones or references, I guess, to witchcraft. For instance, she believed someone in the neighborhood was killing her cats, the family cats, so she posted a sign saying, quote, 3 cats killed today by people in this area. Witches don't like their black cats killed, end quote. So the neighbors were a little freaked out. I mean, obviously you're seeing this and you're like, okay, yeah, they're those neighbors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe Sherilyn was playing. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe it was something much more deep. Like the note that police found in the car from her to Bobby. Her journal would also demonstrate that the couple were going through some hard times, and since they weren't in a happy place in their marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was all very damning, I guess you could say. Now, back to the investigation. You ready?
I'm ready. Take us there.
Now, it had been 2 days since their truck was found, and 10 days since they were last seen or heard from. Volunteers come out to assist in the search, and it would be a brutal one. Lots of rugged terrain, and most of it up or down very steep hills. I mean, because, it's a mountain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tracking dogs as well as helicopters were brought in to assist. The dogs used some items from inside the truck to get a scent of the family, and they start around the truck. The dogs make some hits around the area, but nothing was recovered. Family and friends are relieved, as they hope the couple are still alive and waiting to be discovered.
Now, see, I remember seeing a show that people actually went into the supposed house, the Jamison's house, and they did get like some funky ass shit.
Maybe they did. Maybe
house.
that's it. I don't know. Let's go back into the investigation right now. Based on the position of the vehicle and its contents, authorities leaned towards the idea that the family was forced to exit the truck. A large search of the area was conducted with the help of the volunteers, horses, cadaver dogs, helicopters. Sadly, since no definitive clues were left behind, the case would go cold until November 16th, 2013. It's 4 years later.
Mm-hmm.
That chilly fall day, hunters were up and around Red Oak, hunting.
It's always hunters or
right?
joggers. Mm-hmm.
Right? And they stumble upon some bones. Now, Red Oak is about 3 miles from where the Jamison truck was located. Now, that's an important little thing. 3 miles from where the truck was located.
Like a 3-hour tour.
Just like a 3-hour tour. Authorities are alerted, and they kick off a new search to see what they can find. They would find shoes, bits of clothing, adult teeth, an adult arm and leg bone, and bone fragments that were eventually confirmed to belong to the Jamison family. It seems that the bodies were lying side by side, sort of like, I guess like when you spoon, you know what I'm saying? The elements, as well as the normal decomposing of bodies over time, made it very difficult to determine the exact cause of death.
Yeah, and don't forget the critters either.
Despite some clues that were located, none are able to give a complete picture as to what happened. Of course, there are some theories, and by some, I mean a lot, and some make sense. Some are pretty far out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's dive in, shall we?
Let's do it.
The first theory is that the family were killed over drugs. The isolated mountains up there, and we can relate to this because of where we live, are known for being a bit problematic and provide a really good hiding place for meth labs. And that's similar to the area where we live. We have a lot of woods, a lot of land, farmland. I have a good friend who owns a lot of land, and he will, this is so weird, he will find meth labs on his land because he owns like 150 acres.
Mhm.
So he'll every once in a while take his 4-wheeler out there and he'll run across a meth lab. And I'm like, I don't understand that. And he's like, people sneak on the land and they do it. They like leave it there. I was like, that's so weird to me. I don't think like that, but whatever.
Well, even in the back of our house, we have a woods. My girls were out walking around and came back and just like, yeah, it's this really weird. There's like this little fire pit and chairs. And I'm like, don't ever go there again because God only knows what's back there.
Ugh,
you know?
creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Police also recover some video from the day the family left. Now that in itself, Jen, is not weird. But what is weird is what they're seen doing. You have to watch it. I'm going to put it on our blog. Or we, when I say we, I mean you. We'll put it on the blog. But it's very peculiar. And I was watching it, in my head, I was like, I'd love to camp, right? I'd go places. It's just bizarre. The couple are packing up the truck. Now, remember, this is a day trip. This is only 30 miles away. You're going for the day, right? You can see them making several trips between the car and the home, packing it up. They're getting ready to leave. And this is like 20, 30, 40 trips of them going back and forth. A lot of times they wouldn't even have anything in their hand. They would go out to the truck and then come back in with nothing. You could see them take something out to the truck and then come back in the house. And then a little bit later, take it from the truck and go put it back in the house. They even changed clothes during this time. There was a few times that they would never speaking to each other either. So they would just like walk past each other. There was a time that Sherilyn just stopped. She just stopped and just like stood there. It's creepy, almost like a ghost kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be drugs too,
Well, thank you. So
yeah,
the head investigator.
How many times without drugs, just you walk into a room and forget why you're there, Yeah,
but you're loading up. Like there's a mission, right? The head investigator was my future husband, and his name is Sheriff Israel Beecham. And he decided this really, and I'm sure because this is a small area, it really bothered him, as it would anybody, right? That you couldn't solve it, and it's kind of your small little area. Young guy, young sheriff. He brings in a psychologist to view the tape, and he wanted to know what the psychologist thought. The psychologist immediately believed that they're definitely in an altered state, and he said, drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby's mom, Starlet Jamison, said that Bobby was only on painkillers and not illicit drugs. They weren't known to do illicit drugs, she says. However, a few of their friends told police that they believed that the couple did partake in a little meth, but they could never really be substantiated. And because of how badly the bodies were decomposed, they couldn't test for any of that.
I guess it doesn't get into your bones then, huh?
It had been
You
so
can't
long.
tell. Yeah.
There was also no drugs found in that truck or the house.
Well, hold on. Remembering CrimeCon, they said the only thing that the dogs or wildlife wouldn't touch would be meth, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I wonder
That would
if
be
there was
correct.
any, this is gross, but any teeth marks on the bodies or on the bones. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't even find whole skeletons. That's the thing. They didn't find that much. Yeah,
they just found bits and pieces of them.
Yeah, 4 years in the wilderness, there's not going to be a whole lot left.
Well, but the way you said it, where they were just lying side by side, like they were.
But they weren't full skeletons. I said earlier what they found, like the shoes, some bone, a leg bone, an arm bone, teeth, and then Bobby's skull, which we talk about in a second.
Right.
Part of
like
Bobby's
I said, whatever bones that they did have, if there was any like teeth marks or whatever, that would.
Well, there would be though, but that could be like a raccoon or whatever,
But if dogs wouldn't eat the meat, other critters wouldn't either. That's my point that I'm trying to get across. But that's neither here nor there.
Turkey vultures eat anything.
You think?
Positive.
You don't know if they will eat anything with.
I don't think
but
so.
they wouldn't leave teeth marks because they don't have teeth. So there you have it.
I don't know. I'm going to call my future husband, Israel. I'll let you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'll get back to you. There were no drugs found in the house, and there were no drugs found in the truck. Now, it's important here to note that in the video, you see Sherilyn put a briefcase into the truck. That briefcase has never been located. Was the family planning to meet someone and buy drugs and they were killed? Or perhaps they witnessed a drug deal and were killed because of what they saw. Now, to me, a briefcase is kind of big and cumbersome, so it's harder to hide, right? That bag of money that they found was like a bag, like a soft canvas bag, so you could scrunch it. Do you see what I'm saying? So if somebody did pull them over, maybe to make a drug buy, or they went up there to buy something, maybe it wasn't even drugs, and they had the money in a briefcase, they don't know because they've never recovered the briefcase. You with me? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if it's money. Who knows?
Yeah, but you would think that whoever would check the truck and take anything of value in the truck.
That's the whole thing, though, Jen. Their cell phones were in there. There was a GPS machine in there. The police used the GPS so that they could help tell where they were. They retracked it to find out where they had been. That's how they found that rock with Madison's picture.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. To have somebody as, like, to steal from them, I would think that they would go through the whole thing. You would think, Jen. I don't know. I'm not a criminal. Another theory is that it was a murder-suicide. The letter that was found by police clearly indicated that Sherilyn was not happy in the relationship. Sherilyn did have some mental health issues and could have possibly had enough, or her mental health issues kicked in. It seems that the coroner had found what they had believed could have been a bullet hole in Bobby's skull. And if that's the case, it would be Sherilyn that would have killed him and Madison and then herself. Sherilyn did own a pistol, and that gun has never been located as well. The problem with this is that, would you really walk 3 miles into the woods to do this? Would you really walk your husband and your child 3 miles into the woods to murder them and then kill yourself? The little catch here is that Bobby had that really bad back. He was in extreme pain. Him walking 3 miles in really rugged terrain, I just don't see that happening. Well, where's the gun? If she would murder all 3 of them
and killed herself, the gun would be there. There is no gun. They've never found a gun.
Would be there. Exactly. So that seems to me like that wouldn't be, unless shot him somewhere. Yeah, I don't think that's reasonable for me, but what do I know? Okay, what else is the other one?
Unless you shot yourself and then were able to stay awake and toss the gun far away and then nobody found the gun.
Well, somebody would have had to shoot him, and how would the other ones get if there's no...
She would shoot him, she would shoot her daughter, then she would shoot herself. Then she'd stay awake and take the gun and throw it, and then nobody would ever find it, which is all unlikely to me.
But I'm saying if there was even another person that would shoot them, you would think that they would shoot all 3 of them the same way through the head. That would be the best way to kill them.
Well, there's debate on if that was, in fact, a bullet hole, because it was out there for so long, right? Another theory, Jen, and it's much more simple, is that the family just got lost in the woods. The last known person to have seen the Jamisons alive was a man who lived up in the mountains. He told investigators that he ran into the family as they were out looking at the land that they had wanted to purchase. They were all talked, did a little small talk, went their own ways. He said he didn't notice anything peculiar, anything weird. He didn't notice any other people there, and the family didn't seem odd. They seemed totally fine. So the idea is, did they take a walk and get lost and end up dying from exposure? Now, there's a few things here that contradict that idea. The family left all the valuables in the car, which I understand. However, I don't believe, we said this earlier, anyone would leave their phone in the car when they're hiking, just in case you get in trouble and needed help, right? I saw the movie 27 Hours where he got his leg in that rock, stuck in the rock, right?
Was it his leg or his arm?
I don't know, but he chopped it off with the pocket knife, and I ain't about that life, so I would have a phone.
Well, you saw the movie. Which one is it, his arm or his leg?
It's been a long time. I don't know.
It was his arm.
Okay, well, thank you. You know how much TV I watch? Girl, I can't keep up. Now, also, Bobby suffered from extreme pain due to that car accident, so he's not going to venture out too long. He's not going to go too far away. So it's kind of a little bit unlikely that they would get lost. Now, here's where family members told investigators that Madison loved Maisie the dog so much that there is no way that they would leave that dog locked in the car. If they went for a walk, that dog would go with them. And I believe that. It was a little dog, and she loved that thing, and she went everywhere with it. Another theory is that the family were murdered by somebody close to them. One of the first suspects was Kenneth Bellows. That's the racist man that lived with them for a very short bit. Before Sherilyn pulled a gun on him during that argument. The police interviewed him, and he was ruled out as he had an alibi. But you and I both know that that only means he didn't do it. He could have hired somebody to do it, correct?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Now, there's also Bobby's dad, who had threatened to kill them many times. There's a bunch of backstory to that. I'm not going to go into that, but check it out if you want. You can research it. But the family members didn't believe that the father did it because at the time he was in and out of the hospital. He was sick, ill. However, there were rumblings that the father had some connections with the mafia in Mexico, and it would not be unlike him to hire someone to kill the family.
Doesn't everybody have connections to the mafia? I mean, when this comes out, everybody, I think he's connected to the mafia. Yeah.
Plus, he just seems like a really nice guy.
He does.
I just don't see him doing it. Now, the final theories are a bit out there, but we all know stranger things have happened.
Aliens.
I mentioned earlier that Sherilyn was dabbling in witchcraft. Sherilyn's mother, Connie Coquetan, stated that she believes that the family could have been murdered by a cult. Now, normally, I would say no way to this, but with everything that's going on in the news right now concerning Lori Vallow and her missing children, Ryan and JJ, who knows?
But there's not exactly a satanic cult.
No, it's not satanic. This isn't necessarily satanic. It's a religious cult. She believes it's a religious cult that could have murdered her.
Okay.
There was a strange phone call that came in from an anonymous woman. Aren't they always anonymous?
Mm-hmm.
Who said that she saw Sherilyn's name on a hit list from a cult that operates in southeast Oklahoma.
Okay. Did it say what kind of cult? Just a religious cult?
A religious cult, and it had a name, but I could not find it. It almost seemed like a racist religious cult. Let's leave it at that.
Okay.
Now, again, I would say that I would never believe this, but I just watched this documentary on this cult, of which I'm going to write a episode about, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
And it took, let's just say I believe it does happen.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
They take out who is a problem. Let's put it that way, right?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Now,
I totally believe all that.
The last theory, last but not least, of course, is that they are alive and well. Those skeletal remains were staged, and the family is part of a witness protection program. Why? Why would they be in there? Who knows? But, I guess it could happen. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they turned in a big drug person. I don't know. What is known, Jen, is that there's still no answers to what actually happened to the Jamison family. Sheriff Beecham, left the force, but he did say that the case has always bothered him as his daughter was the same age as Madison when she disappeared. He does believe, however, that the family were murdered. So what do you think, Jen? There's not a lot to it. There's a little.
What I think happened, because the dog was still in the car and all the money was still in the car, I think they were doing drugs and they wandered off and they got lost.
Really? What about the little girl, though? Why would they take her with them?
They were going to survey the land to buy a house and see where they wanted to go.
Mm-hmm. Well,
they got out of the car and they walked out. But I've seen the video. I have seen it. I know this case, and it is weird. But they believed their house was haunted by demons. They were drug addicts.
No,
the one had mental
the one was
issues.
On painkillers. It was determined that the husband Bobby was on painkillers. Right. Sherilyn was not ever supposed to do drugs. No drugs were found in the house nor in the truck. Now, for hardcore drug addicts, I would think that they would find drugs at one of those spots. I'm just saying.
You would think.
If you're doing meth, there's going to be some sort of meth residue somewhere in your house, on your clothes in the car, the stuff that they had in the car.
Possibly.
I'm pretty sure. One of the couple's friends said that they did do drugs. The mom was adamant that they did not.
Yeah. Well,
but also,
you know how mothers, you don't tell your mothers everything.
Well, Sherilyn, with her mental health issues, some of that, as you know, can mimic drug use, right? Catatonic state and just, confusion and all that stuff.
And you also know that people with mental health issues also use drugs to self-medicate.
I do. And painkillers. Painkillers also make you act like that. So I get it. I don't know. I think there's foul play. I think something bad happened, but I don't know.
It very well could be. I don't know. I just really think they got lost somewhere. They got confused, or who knows, maybe the wife did have some kind of psychotic break and kill them both, but probably not with a gun, because the gun would be found somewhere close. So I don't know.
It's a good point. Maybe she had little, I was going to say food and fed them, but I guess there'd be like wrappers out there, but maybe not. Poison sandwiches.
Away in the wind. It would blow away in the wind. The wrappers, they wouldn't be there after 4 years.
You're right.
You know?
All right, Jen, that's the case I got for you.
It's an interesting case. Very interesting. Everybody, why don't you send us an email or Twitter us or whatever and tell us what you think happened to the Jamison family.
I would like to hear that. I really would. This is the kind of case that really bugs me. Really grinds my gears. No, it just bugs me because, I like to know.
Closure. Yeah, I just think they got lost in the woods, whether it be painkillers or other kinds of drugs or a psychotic break or something. I don't know. And it's easy for the parents to want to think that it's murder because you never want to think that you're...
So, Jen, it's been a long time since we
did some... A long time. You are correct.
Shout-outs. So I thought we'd give some shout-outs. You ready?
You do it.
So we had some delicious iTunes ratings, people that left us a rating, most of which were 5 stars. But I just want to give them a little shout-out. You ready?
Yep. Let's go.
So we got Beachy Breezy.
Cute name.
ESJ1461. KTO, the 13. We got JT.
Our pals at Crime Lab.
There you go.
True Crime. Check them out. They're fun. Lots of fun. They're kind of like the male version of Cam and I.
We got Hello and No.
Oh, all right.
Cubs_dad. LA Tally 16. Love Sweet Sam's. Then we got this one, and I swear I think they must have just plugged it in. Like, left a review and then just did some numbers. So it's GDFFVSCGSXHF.
Oh, nice. Sure it means something to them.
Some Jen. You're not saying Some Jen. They have the same name as you, Jen.
Nice.
Jen. Okay.
I was thinking Jen, J-I-N, or no. G-I-N. Yeah.
We got Doe Pin Rose. Now, Doe Pin Rose gave us 4 stars due to sound, and we really hope it's better. Girl or boy, whoever you happen to be, or they or them, or...
Honey.
It has been, let me tell you, sound has been...
I'd like to buy you a beer and discuss our sound. It might have to be like a couple beers to get all through it, but yeah. We get it. We know. But thanks for listening and letting us know. We appreciate it.
We think we sound great. We knocked it out of the park. Yeah. No, it's terrible.
Camille's half deaf, so there's that too.
You guys make fun of me, but let me tell you, I've been researching it, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. I think we'll talk about that later. I'm not kidding. It's really
that
bad.
happened to my mom too, and you know what it was? She needed to get her ears cleaned. No, that's all. Yeah,
it's not that. It's whatever. The Misery Machine podcast.
Thank you.
Shell Duck. Or Shelly Duck. It's CHELLE Duck. JM Booker 1.
Nice.
Annie Sweets. Goldie 3033. Champ Princess. Now, this person gave us 3 stars. They like the banter, but don't like the what?
Audio.
Thank you. Bad audio.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
I'm telling you.
We're working on it. We're trying to get it our best we can.
Hopefully it's there by now,
Yeah.
We got I wrote Capable podcast. I wonder if it's culpable. No, it's Capable.
No, it's Capable.
Yep.
It's my buddy Capable.
Capable podcast. We got Oak 3302, and then we got Dingo Warrior. That was our last iTunes review. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Means the world. Now, also,
makes our day to find good reviews for us. Trust us, it's true.
A giant thank you for dropping us a message on Facebook, Amber Bradburn Jones, and we have Dominique Jones. Now, she contacted Jen about saying Tina instead of Tia. Working on it. So far, I haven't found it, and I'm over halfway through it, but I'm just checking. But we appreciate
Apologizes. That. We appreciate that.
Yep. We make a mistake.
Could very well have said Tina. Know. I do apologize. Just haven't caught it, but we are getting it worked out.
On Instagram, we got some lovely messages from Sid C. Sagar, Brianna Nicole Phillips, and It's Relly Rel. I don't know if you put that all together. And finally, last but far from least, a great big welcome back to our buddy Carol C. We missed you.
Yay,
we can't wait
Carol.
to see you.
So excited seeing you at CrimeCon in a few months.
She's the best. She's
Carol
one of
is
us.
the best.
That should catch us up to where we need to be for a little bit. Hey, you guys, leave us a review. Like, we're okay with bad reviews or bad messages because we want to be better. So we're totally down for that. However, I did see a review, not for us, and I'm going to share it with you later. But this person, you don't need to leave a review for somebody telling them they're stupid. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? If you really think they're stupid, don't listen to the podcast. Not a big deal, right? But if they have bad audio or they mispronounce a word, we want to know. We want to know, right? We grew up in Missouri. Like, that's, what can I say, right? So anyway, that's all I got for you, Jen. You got anything?
No, nothing at all. So
All right,
anyway.
Jen, well, leaving you. Hope you guys all have a good week, rest of the week, whatever. Love you, mean it, whatever. And here we go. Remember, lock your doors.
And keep passing by those open windows.
Oh, bye-bye.
Love ya.
Today's episode was researched and written by me, Cam. For more information about this episode, as well as all the sources I used, please check out our show notes or the podcast website at ourtruecrimepodcast.com. Our True Crime Podcast is developed and created by hosts Jen and Cam. Original music and audio mix of all our True Crime Podcast episodes is courtesy of Nico from We Talk of Dreams. Listener discretion is provided by Edward October from October Pod VHS. Our True Crime Podcast is executive produced by Nico Vertesi and Dick Bain. Make sure to like and subscribe to Our True Crime Podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. We can be reached on Instagram and Facebook at Our True Crime Podcast or on Twitter at Our True Crime Pod. You can email us at ourtruecrimepodcast@gmail.com. If you really like the show, make sure to check out our Patreon at Our True Crime Podcast. Our True Crime Podcast is an OTC production.
Well,
Police
the house is also haunted, you know, they say.
Which one?
The Jamison home.
Well, it's not haunted. You'll see.
Satanists, yeah.
Not really, but kind of. I think they were on drugs. But we'll get
Stop
jumping ahead.
I'm just saying I know the story. No, because I know this one.
Just sit there and smile. Just sit there and smile.
Okay, I'll shut up. You go at.
Smile, look pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Nico. I made a huge mistake by not bringing water in here, and my mouth, I feel, because talking all day is blah, blah, right?
Yep.
Okay, hold on. The head investigator was my future husband, and his name is Sheriff Israel. How do you say his last name?
Beecham? Or
Beecham.
Beecham?
Bichon. I gotta get water.
Sorry, Nico. So how you doing, buddy? This will probably be a little while. How's the cooking going? The baking? I've been meaning to make banana bread lately. We've got some bananas that are going bad. I might try to do that tomorrow. I love banana bread. It's so yummy. I like to do one that has like a lime, it's like a lime sugar glaze over top. It's so good. It's so yummy. I love it. Sometimes I like to throw coconut in with my banana bread. Good times. Trying to think what else I can talk to you about. That's about it. Yeah. Also, I think next week I want to try to do, I've got 2 things. I'm talking to Nico real quick. I've got 2 things.
I didn't die.
Okay. I'm talking to Nico real quick. Did you get your lung put in your body?
Tessa's like, please don't die now. It's like a dry spot or something. Well, Hayden turns the heat on full blast, and I'm in this closet, and I had a sweatshirt on today, and I'm sweating to death. And then, you know, when you get hot and you cough? That. Okay, we're almost done. Hold on. Now I sound all sexy. Not really. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to. We're on 4. Let's dive in. Hold on. Murder, suicide, we covered. All right. Okay, here we go. Hold on. One more drink. Oh my God, that's terrible. Okay, you ready? Are you there?
Yep,
Are you there?
I'm here.
What is known, Jen? Wait, how do you say his last name again?
Beecham.
Beecham. How come I can't? Because I keep seeing it.
Like Toby Meacham, but it's Beecham.
But I keep seeing it as Boo Camp, and that's how it's read.
Boo Chomp. Yeah.